Hello, it's Phillip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers. I'm talking about a book which I think is invaluable for a lot of people. See the extract from Flickr, which is here. It's called The Company Secretary's Handbook. As I said, by Kogan Page. It's a guide to statutory duties and responsibilities. Now in a 5th edition, written by Helen Ashton, and it's part of the Sunday Times Business Development series. This is the book here, some paperback, nice and light, some interesting comments on the back. Useful stuff in the book itself, a good beginning, nice simple chapters, a good layout and some good specimen points about companies. And at the back, which is very important, is a timetable about the Companies Act 2006, a lot of forms, and at the back a short index. So it's not a bad book, and very much in keeping with the mission statement of both the Sunday Times and Kogan Page for this type of publication. Now what I have done is I've given it a title on the internet, Keeping Good Company with This Practical Handbook. And that's exactly what it does, because it's an established work now, but it has a use across the board. So it's not just for one particular area like the heavy professional. It can be suitable for learners and people involved in day-to-day company work. So if you're a company secretary or contemplating appointing one as the boss, or eventually becoming one perhaps yourself, or even possibly discharging this role without necessarily becoming one, then this is the book which, in the words of the author Helen Ashton in her 5th edition, will help you to prevent problems arising during the day-to-day administration of the company, and it will assist you in getting things right from the start, as even minor omissions can prove very costly, as many people in business will know. The omissions referred to here include, for example, the penalties for late filing of accounts at Companies House, which of course are now imposed automatically rather than on a discretionary basis, and they include repeat offender penalties too. So it's really all about attention to detail to placate bureaucrats, and I put that in the sense to which it's meant. As I say, it's published by the Sunday Times, an excellent area for them to get involved in, and it's part of the Exemplary Business Development series, which is in association with Kogan Page, who are an international publisher. The Company Secretary's Handbook, therefore, is precisely that. It's a guide to the main responsibilities that have traditionally been carried out by the Company Secretary, together with core duties. But it's not a heavy legal term, thankfully. As you can see, it's a nice light book for your briefcase. What we're talking about here is that because the book actually includes handy checklists throughout, which is just what you need to summarise the procedures necessary to put certain changes in place and to avoid omissions. I'm often amazed in my practice as a barrister that I get people who obviously know all about how to run companies and often wonder where they got the information from, and it's clearly from books of this nature. A good example, of course, of the sort of thing it offers can be found with the documents such as the Companies House forms, which are here, draft notices and resolutions, which Helen has also included to help lighten the administrative burden. It was updated in 2008, which was useful because the implications of the new consolidated Companies Act 2006 are sort of coming online. The appendix at the back gives you the timetable because it's the largest piece of legislation we've ever had in Parliament, and obviously it's something that's important for us to come to grips with. What the book does do as a practical guide is it covers a number of essential areas which I think you should be aware of. Obviously the formation of companies, corporate governance, day-to-day admin, keeping the statutory records, very important of course, annual routines and dissolution of the company. Whether or not therefore you've got access to a chartered secretary or any form of in-house lawyer in your business, you'll find, I think, this handbook is invaluable. Not only is it ideal for directors and secretaries of private limited companies, it's also useful in my view for things like residents associations, your community associations, possibly even with charitable status, using perhaps limited liability company status to hold the freehold of their property, or certainly for learners studying for examinations set by their various universities or professional bodies, where company law or secretarial practice is part of the course of study. I also think, having studied this subject many years ago at university, that it's good for those thinking of the company law area of the LLB as an undergraduate laws option. It's obviously an area that is a chancery practice mainly, but it is important. However, do remember that as each company and organisation is different, the 5th edition shouldn't be used just merely as a replacement for or an alternative to professional advice from a chartered secretary or say a solicitor. However, what I'd do is I'd advise you to use it as though you were keeping good company with your competitors, so you know what the current statutory duties and responsibilities are. So thank you very much, Helen, for this excellent new edition. Bye bye.